It's fun. I told you it's so funny. So my hair has been rainbow for years. So when people will say, because the other day I had it dyed professionally, which normally I just do it myself. So someone else did it and blow dried it and made it look really pretty. Someone said, "Oh, I like that you did rainbow." It's been rainbow for 10 years. Oh, no, not 10. Let's see. 7 years.
I can't remember when it wasn't.
Because it's been a really long time.
Yeah.
That's why.
Greetings from New Zealand. Hello, Kiwis.
Hello. We watch religiously with my daughter Bluey, which we talked about. But because of that, there's a lot of Australian slang and Kiwi slang that she's learned. And it's so funny because there's stuff that we're saying to each other that you have to look up because it's so specific and something that we would never use anyway.
I suppose we should start by saying Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, as you said. To those who celebrate, very happy Easter to you.
And a happy Passover to those who are celebrating that.
To those of us who are missing that leavened bread right about now. I have to tell you guys about. So I have been on a quest for these muffins. All right. There are these really good muffins that Ralph's has. It's a supermarket. Why are you're sideways? How'd you manage that one? Scoot in. I didn't even look. My dad has a special ability to turn himself sideways all the time. And then he ends up in really awkward positions. And my mom and I are always really impressed by this. Is that you're still a little sideways, but less. You're less sideways than you were.
Okay.
Is that comfortable at least?
Lovely.
Lovely. Well, there you go. Anyway, so I've been on this quest for these muffins because they keep selling out everywhere. And I went into one of our Ralphs's that's right nearby. And I said, hi, do you know why you guys have been selling out so fast from all this stuff? Because every time I come, it's all gone. And one nice woman said to me, well, it was Passover, so maybe people were stocking up. And I said, Passover is actually when you can't eat anything leavened. So nothing that's risen. So the muffins would actually be here because of Passover. And she said, oh, okay. And then I asked someone else at another Ralph's who also said, well, maybe it's Passover. Maybe that's why people are stocking up. And I said, it's the opposite, but that's fine. They don't know. That's okay. Lynn says sideways is Leonard's superpower. Honestly, he does it at the kitchen table. He's always sideways. We don't know how. I guess it is your superpower.
Maybe so.
Jerry says you're glowing. We have a light on behind us. You do have a bit of a radiance going on.
A halo
that
effect.
Is appreciated.
A halo effect.
A halo. This is Leonard and his halo effect. Yes, someone just said, does your mother understand last week how much viewers appreciate her? We always tell her. But Alice is Alice. It's one of her lack of superpowers is understanding how much people love her. But that's why we're here, to just constantly remind her of that. But man, oh man.
Someone's noting that our image is reversed.
So again, depending on where you watch us, so the middle computer here is where we are on Facebook and YouTube. The phone here is Instagram, and over here on this iPad is Twitter. Now, people say to me, why don't you just use one device? And I will tell you, you can't. The way that all the various apps work, you have to use different things. So we have different ones. It also, though, I will tell you, it means that when one thing crashes, the others don't, which is also nice. So we don't lose everybody all at once. TCM is playing Warner Brothers movies all month, so no Easter parade or 10 Commandments this year. That seems like a bit of a waste, not to show the thing that people would think to watch. But I guess that means you're going to have to go and get it yourself. You're going to have to purchase, if nothing else, Easter parade, because everyone should see Easter parade.
Yeah. Too good only to watch at Easter time.
Yes. I don't think I've ever watched. Well, we don't do Easter, so I've never watched anything at Easter. But
it's a lovely movie.
It is. It's just
I actually, in the title is Irving Berlin's Easter Parade.
Yes.
Just as I was going to sleep last night, I watched the beginning of Irving Berlin's This Is the Army.
And?
Well, This Is the Army has a story all to itself, but it is the only film in which Ronald Reagan and George Murphy, later the senator and governor of California, appeared together.
Amazing.
Take that.
Yeah. Amazing those kinds of things, though, isn't it? You just never would have thought. Our friend Jeremy Arnold was over yesterday. He's so sweet. He wanted to meet Daisy. He had not yet met Daisy in person. And so we were talking about what's coming up for TCM, because the TCM Classic Film Festival starts this Thursday. And it was, he's really excited. The film that he programmed is called
The Crimson Canary.
The Crimson Canary. And he's so excited about sharing that. He has a deep passion for B movies.
Yep.
And he was talking about all the sort of little fun facts that he's researched and found about it. And I was so excited to share. And he's just he's just a genuinely lovely, lovely man, but also just really fun. He's so excited about it. So
we're all getting excited about it, because not only the movies and the special guests, we get to see a whole bunch of our friends.
Yeah.
Both local and those who've flown in from parts
all over the place,
east, west, north, south.
Yeah.
And so that's a big part of the allure. I think the first year of the festival, some film buff pals of mine said, "What's the point? Who wants to go? You know, only the out of towners are going to go to this because they're not showing anything rare." Well, that was the first clue that they were onto something.
Yeah.
And the second year, Carrie Beecham, my author, researcher friend, said it's movie buff fantasy camp.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the perfect description. People come to be with like-minded people to do things that they couldn't do at home. Yes, you could see Casablanca at home. You might even be lucky enough to go to a Fathom event screening and see it on a screen, but you couldn't see it at the Grauman's Chinese Theater screen.
Yeah.
You couldn't see it in an audience guaranteed to be filled with like-minded people who are going to appreciate it just as much as you are. And you couldn't walk on Hollywood Boulevard on the Walk of Fame to get to your next screening, or go to the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel.
It's really special. And one of the things that I love is that everybody's sort of, most people coming, because it's expensive. It's an expensive festival to attend. A lot of people got this as their anniversary gift, as a birthday gift. People love to come over and tell us about it. They love to come over and say, "Oh, my husband surprised me and said we were going to do this." And they fly in from all over the place. And it's just a really lovely gathering. And for the friends,
and everyone's in great spirits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, how could you not be? I mean, truly, how could you not be? You're sideways again, Leonard. You're sideways and you're falling down. This is why he needs an adult. This is why you have to keep your Leonard in check, or you lose him to different directions. I'm just always trying to keep him. He's because of his shoulder and everything else. He had shoulder surgery last year and all of that. I'm just constantly trying to keep him stable and well. Stable and well. Jesse, what color was your hair originally? My hair is like my mom's. I have dark blonde hair. Dirty blonde, if you want to call it. And I started.
I don't want to call it.
No, my dad says that I'm one of the only natural blondes in Los Angeles who dyes it another color.
A natural blue-eyed blonde.
A natural blue-eyed
California
blonde
girl
who dyes it a different color. What can I say? I just like it. Is there a page that has a list of all the commentaries Mr. Maltin has done? Good God, I can't begin to imagine.
There isn't that many. There aren't that many, rather.
I mean, yeah, there are.
For commentaries, no, not that many.
More than you'd think, though. See, I think you just forget.
I guess.
I think you just forget how many.
I did The Night at the Opera.
Yeah.
I did the 2 Laurel and Hardy features with Dick Bann, Bonnie Scotland, and the other one. and Fra Diavolo, the Devil's Brother.
Yeah.
I did one of the Harold Lloyds with Rich Carell.
Yeah.
Last one I did was Duck Soup with Robert Bader, and then I did the John Wayne films for Paramount.
Yeah,
always with other people.
Yeah, but you mean just in terms of all the specials and everything else?
Oh, if you're counting all
there's
that,
a lot of you.
Counting all that.
My favorite is my friends will say, "Oh, I just saw your dad in a documentary," and I go, "Okay," and they go, "Yeah, I don't remember which one it was." I go, "Well, then I really can't help because there's just so damn many." But it's good. It's a fun thing that you get to do, and it's fun to discover you. Have you ever ended a friendship over a movie disagreement? No, I think the only time that happens is if it leads to something else. So, if...
And you're ugly too.
Yeah, right. I think the only time that's ever happened to anybody really is the disagreement goes further, where it's not just you dislike that movie. It's you dislike that movie and you're a terrible person. That's probably more of the thing than anything else. Jerry Beck is hosting a Looney Tunes screening at the Fest this year. I'm sure he is. Well, yeah, that's what's so funny is that all of our friends host something. Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
All of our friends host something. And so it's hilarious. First of all, they all just have to give up trying to get to each other's stuff because there's just no way to hit everything. It's impossible. Randy Haberkamp's over here, and is Donald Sosin doing anything this year?
No.
Okay, but Ben Modell is probably doing one of his. So you've got Ben Modell over there, and you've got and Jeremy Arnold hosting his screening,
and George Feltenstein.
Is here,
and
Bruce has his quiz,
and Ben Burt and Craig Barron are doing their thing, and Bruce opens it up with this quiz.
He does a quiz on Thursday.
Another Warner's musical.
So it is. It's hilarious at times because
and Carrie Beecham is doing a couple of intros.
Everybody kind of goes passing each other where it's like, "Hi, friend," and then they're off. They have expanded to using a building up the street a little bit called the
American Legion Post.
Thank you, the American Legion.
Hollywood American Legion Post 40 something.
Yeah. And it's a really cool space. It's just tough because it's sort of like up the street, and it's enough away that it's a little bit of a pain to get to. So that too can be difficult. Everyone trying to sort of, as I say,
allow time,
finagle. But it's just a blast. Because of Daisy, I don't get to see anything, but I just get to walk around and see our friends. I get to roll around, I guess, with her in the stroller. We roll around and see all of our friends and hang out in the green room, which is a lot of fun, and people watch. I'm very much an only child in that way. I love people watching. You can leave me in a corner and I will just sit and be happy for hours, because that's what used to happen when I was growing up. I would just sit in a corner somewhere.
I'm introducing 4 showings. I'm introducing The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the most recent restoration, with Doug Jones.
Yeah. No. I don't know what your schedule is.
No.
I haven't seen your schedule yet.
My brain.
Do you want me to look it up?
Guillermo's favorite actor.
Yeah, Doug Jones.
Doug Jones.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know you were presenting something with him.
And so he is going to talk about the pantomime.
Yeah. I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know he's doing a thing with Doug Jones at TC? You didn't tell me.
He's the sweetest man.
He's, honest to God, the sweetest man. He is just light and joy and so incredibly kind. And hearing him talk about his characters. So he's the one that when you watch Shape of Water, he's the creature. When you watch Hellboy, he is it's voiced by David Hyde Pierce, but he's the physical creature again. Right. He's also in Hocus Pocus as Billy. But he's just absolutely beautiful, and he loves his work. And it's just so, as I say, it's just so incredibly cool. And he's just an absolutely lovely person.
And I'm going to introduce
I'm trying to look up what
the 1931 Frederick March, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, with Michael Westmore of the...
you didn't tell... Hey, what are you doing at TCM this year?
Well, I'm telling
you haven't told me. You're doing Michael West. That's amazing.
Yeah, of the famous Westmore family.
You did when? Okay. Can't believe you didn't tell me this
four brothers
stuff.
who each ran a makeup department of the major studio.
Yeah. And continue, and the Westmore name continues to be strong. There was a sort of a competitive makeup show that was on, where both the daughter and the father was a judge and the daughter was the host. Mackenzie Westmore, I think, was the host, something like that. Just fantastic. Do you have a thing of your schedule?
Yeah,
you must. Do we have a thing of your schedule?
Yeah.
Do we? Me and that lady?
No. Here, if you click on that, Dory's
proposed film schedule. There you go. So Saturday, April 15th, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde at 3:30 at the Chinese Multiple House 6. Is that what they call it? We call the Chinese sixplex upstairs the Chinette. So that's usually how we refer to it. So you got the Chinette, and then a conversation with Michael Westmore. That's so cool. And then Hunchback of Notre Dame at 100th anniversary at 9 p.m. also at the multiplex with Doug Jones. That's at 9 p.m. That's a late one for you, sir. Sunday, Heaven Can Wait.
Making up for it, I have a 9 a.m. start.
Yeah, there you go. You have a 9 a.m. on Sunday with Heaven Can Wait.
Ernst Lubitsch's film.
Then at 2:30, Mr. Cohen Takes a Walk. The Chinese, also the number 4. It's
arguably the least known film in the festival.
Yeah, well, look at you. And you watched it last night.
Watched it yesterday.
You decided to watch it just in case you hated it. And
I haven't seen it in more than 40 years.
And you, Mommy, both really liked it.
Yeah.
It held up for you.
It's a very likable, charming little film.
Which is nice. 1 second. I've been rewatching the first Kirk Alyn Superman serial, and he's rapidly becoming one of my favorite Supermen.
Well, he's fine.
Yeah.
It's the serial surrounding him. It's so cheesy.
That's so funny.
That's a Sam Katzman serial. Sam Katzman was one of the most notorious penny pinching producers in Hollywood history. I have a great admiration for him. He made B and B minus movies for years and years and years, and often was in on fads. In the 50s and 60s, he did rock and roll movies. He did when there was beach movies, he did beach movies.
Frank is saying Kirk Alyn had a cameo in the Dick Donner Superman, in the train sequence.
And so did Noel Neill, who played Lois Lane.
Jerry's asking what the large silver cup is. Do you mean, I think I'm pointing at it right. You mean this thing right here, Jerry? That is actually it's a popcorn maker that looks like the NFL Stanley Cup. My mom got that from my husband. It's back there because this is
NHL.
Did I say NHL?
It's NFL.
Sure. NHL. So it's
and I don't know anything about sports, and I mean nothing.
It's back there, and it's back there because this is my husband's bar. This is actually bar, but my dad covers it and stuff. So my husband loves to make drinks and things like that. So sometimes you'll see some of his actual alcoholic items, but also popcorn, because why not? How is the Claude Rains Hunchback?
There is no Claude Rains Hunchback.
Kent, what are you thinking?
You mean you're thinking of Charles Laughton? It's a slip of the brain.
Yeah, we don't ever have those.
I have those all the time now.
Several people are bringing up that Michael Westmore did the Star Trek makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Several folks are saying that they really enjoyed it for that. I understand. I get that completely. How does March's Jekyll compare to Spencer Tracy?
Very different. I'm calling it the Frederick March version because he's the star, and he was very celebrated for that performance.
Yeah,
it's really director Ruben Mamoulian's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It was still 1931 was still early for talkies, and he uses the camera in very interesting ways, including first-person point of view sequences, and that's really one of the standout aspects of the film, is that it's so imaginatively directed and staged. And Miriam Hopkins is really good as Ivy, and it's a good film. And Tracy wanted to be more psychological. He didn't want to rely as much on just the outward appearance of Mr. Hyde.
Jerry's saying, what is your hunch on the Disney Hunchback? I really liked that film. I thought it was well done.
I kind of liked it too. It's I can't get past the fact that they made a film, a musical film for the whole family
about the Hunchback.
About the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
But a lot of that music's beautiful.
A lot of music is beautiful.
They're Out There is a stunning song from that, which I love. Yeah, it's I liked it. Do you like it? And they also did an absolutely fantastic show at Disneyland for years.
Wow.
That was so much fun and so clever.
Was so good.
Beautiful. That's gone now.
In their outdoor performance area. Yeah.
I love their Pocahontas show. The Pocahontas show was gorgeous. The Hunchback show, all the things that you're not allowed to have anymore. They were great. Should have been there. They're gone now. We can't talk about it anymore. They're gone now. Esmeralda's a Gypsy. No more. Yeah, I always thought it was clever and well done. Did the Hunchback show have the gargoyles?
I don't remember if the gargoyles came to life in the Hunchback show. I don't remember.
You no say.
Did the Festival of Fools, the big number on the Festival of Fools.
Oh, you mean at Disneyland?
Yeah.
I'm sure they must have. They must have done it. No, I would think that they would have to. But yeah, it was just really well done. It was a lot of fun, and of course the colors, fantastic colors. What I remember is they had a thing. So the Hunchback would get onto like a zip line thing and go across. It was really wild.
Oh, that
was neat.
Very showmanly.
Yeah.
As most of their performances there were.
Yeah.
One new movie to recommend, Air.
Yes.
Which is playing now in a bunch of theaters. Amazon has rewritten its playbook, you might say, and has released it wide. And not in just a handful of theaters, but they've released it like a movie studio would release an A picture, which this is.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to like it, including me.
Yeah. What did your kids think?
They liked it very much.
Yeah.
My students liked it very much.
What were they?
Almost all positive.
Yeah.
Almost all.
Any no or just so-sos?
Just a few holdouts.
All right.
I had one of the producers, Jason Berman, USC grad, and another USC grad, Adam Convery. It is his first produced screenplay, but he was nice enough, kind enough, and disarming enough to admit that Matt and Ben did a polish on his on his final draft, and also said they did a little bit of improv, and ad-libbing there. And Jason Bateman is no slouch at doing that either,
of course,
and that they improved the film.
Yeah.
Not every beginning screenwriter would admit that so freely, but he did.
And I think that, frankly, it shows what kind of person you are.
Yeah. And he's already on another film with them.
Yeah. And there you go. Yeah, that's the one we're talking about, Christopher. It's this film, Air. Your review,
it's not about Michael Jordan.
So your review, his review is up on LeonardMaltin.com. You can read it. One of the things that you mentioned is just that it's not a big movie.
No.
And that is the only negative at the moment, is that some people might have bigger expectations, or they might think that it's about Michael Jordan, and it's not. It's
about everything that surrounded the eventual marriage of Michael Jordan and Nike.
Yeah.
To create the Air Jordans.
Yeah.
And that includes and involves his mother. And the real Michael Jordan, in order to sign off on this film, they didn't need his permission to make the film. He's a public figure. He's a very public figure.
Yeah.
But they wanted his blessing. Ben Affleck said he wouldn't make the film without Michael Jordan.
Well, I don't think they're stupid enough to do that.
And he said one of his conditions was that Viola Davis had to play his mother. Good call. Good call. She's just so good.
But that's also, I think it says a lot about both Ben Affleck and Matt Damon that they didn't want to make this movie, because the truth is you shouldn't make it without him being okay with it.
They're public figures themselves. They've certainly been all over the tabloids.
Yeah.
You know, they know what it's like to be on the other side of that fence.
Yeah.
And
this is nothing negative.
No.
It's just the story about the marketing and how it came to be.
Matt Damon is so good in it. I've liked him for years and years and years, and he's become a young character actor. In essence, he gained weight. The guy's supposed to be kind of a schlub. And he embodies this character so well.
When we Ford v Ferrari, like you, I've always thought that Matt Damon is really talented, and we know he's really smart. He's a very smart guy. But it was really interesting to see him talk about sort of these different kinds of characters, and Ford v Ferrari, where he has to hold himself a certain way. I just think that he's really, really good. And I don't know that people fully understand how good he is. Trevor's saying, Leonard, do you have any souvenirs from your own career? Maybe a leftover hot ticket, hot or not card, or an Entertainment Tonight call sheet or anything? That's so funny.
I have some paper stuff like call sheets and staff lists and that kind of thing. I did save the one time I was on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno as part of a bit that Jay did, which they actually cut. I got the handwritten cue cards, and I saved those. So I occasionally have that sort of thing. You
have some pictures, the stuff that they like. You have those big group shots from the 80s that they took. He has a members only jacket. There's a members only jacket that's there. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, we kind of have. You had so much stuff there that just came home. My dad always says the way his desks are, you can't sign a letter on them because it's covered in stuff as indicated here. You have a lot of stuff that was there, a lot of the things, and like the big poster boards you did. And
the year that E.T. started a spinoff called Hot Ticket. A weekend movie review show. They actually occupied office space in a building across the street from ET on the Paramount lot. And I was given an office there. Well, I already had an office at ET.
Across the... And it's not across the street. It's across the small space between
10 paces
stages.
Away. Right.
At Paramount.
And I started decorating it.
Of course you did.
And... there's another shelf I can put figurines on over here.
If you give Leonard space, he will take that space.
Yeah, there's some sort of Murphy's Law or something about that. And
my mom and I like to say, my dad has a magic ability to fill drawers, but very quietly. So if you say, oh, hey, we opened up a drawer on, in that room, there's a drawer there. And you go, oh, it's already full. I know you did. And it's done. It's already full. Okay. Just find things absolutely everywhere. Every nook and cranny is full of something.
My wife put the brakes on that second office. I said, I'm thinking maybe framing some of these. She said, if the show gets renewed.
Maybe.
And we did get renewed, but I still took her point.
Don't fill the second office, which we know you can do, but don't fill the second office. No, what amazed me, I don't know how many of them you've kept. Because obviously in the old house and in your old office, you had all those press kits.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many of them you've kept.
Virtually none.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that was wild. Opening in the middle part of that room, you had those drawers just full of press kits.
Yep. I think I donated those to USC, to the USC Cinema Library.
Yeah. They had to go somewhere. Ken says, I recall your ET segments as always being cutaways to video. Did you ever sit with John Tesh and Mary Hart at the desk on film? Yeah, but not often.
Not at their desk. No, I went through
like stand 5 next to it on occasion.
I went through 5 producers, and they each had a different view of how to do things. And then Once or twice on the weekend show, I think I did do that, but not much.
So sometimes the way they would shoot things is you were standing up here and their desk is like here. So they can see each other, you can see each other, but they weren't necessarily next to each other. But I grew up with all of them.
It was one day when our then producer Dave Newell said, "You came this close to hosting the show tonight," because John Tesh was sick or out of town. And I think both John and Mary were not present, and Pat O'Brien was their go-to fill-in anchor on retainer.
Yeah.
And he was out of town, and I forget who else they were. And so
you were like the Secretary of State who was suddenly going to be the president. Yeah.
But I forget how it was resolved, but it was destined not to happen.
No, there were so many funny though. It's because you stayed, we met so many people who came through the show, both employees and on-air talent.
Yeah.
And there were two that were my favorite, just the leading into it part that I loved. One was his name Carlos? It was like Countdown to Carlos.
Oh, yeah.
And for like 30 days, it was like, he's coming. Carlos is a coming. And I think he lasted, God bless him, I think he lasted 2 weeks on the show. But the lead into it was so big. And then the other one was Maria Menounos. They thought Maria Menounos was Hispanic. They did not realize she was Greek. And so there too, they kept going, we have a hot Latina joining us. And I talked to Maria about this where I went, they thought you were Hispanic, right? And it's not until you got here and said, actually, I'm Greek. They went, oh, crap. We have absolutely been calling you Latina this whole time.
Craig is asking if I've seen Kelly Reichardt's new movie Showing Up. And I'm frustrated to say, no, I haven't.
I missed it a couple of times.
I missed several screenings and it opened Friday, and it's gotten good reviews. And I'm determined to see it as soon as I can.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to listen to Mark Maron's interview until I see the film first.
Yeah. Arthur's saying Lisa Gibbons wasn't there at ET. Yeah, Lisa was there. Lisa was there for a time before she got her spinoff and went off on her own world. But no, Lisa, we still know Lisa. I talked to her. She's lovely.
She's involved in elder care now. Very, very much involved.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, Lisa was there. It was, as I say, it was really interesting to have all these different kinds of people. Pat O'Brien, POB, and so many others through the years. God, when Paula Abdul was on the show, the main issue that Paula Abdul had was she never showed up on time. And so they would have to give her 2-hour windows because they didn't know when she was going to actually show up. And it's just, it was fascinating. And then I love to sit in the booth. That's my favorite place to sit because you had in there.
That was the heartbeat. It
was like 10 people, sometimes more than that.
The nerve center.
You had the director, you had producers, you had all these different people and a wall of screens, like what you see on, when they have TV shows and you see sort of what the booth looks like. It was really interesting to sit in there and to watch everybody and listen to everybody. And the routine of it, I also really enjoyed, which was, when I got to go with my dad, we drive to ET. You always parked in the same spot unless it was full of water. There's this thing at Paramount called the Tank, and it's when not full of water, a parking area. When being used, full of water. And they have boats explode there.
Watching the miniseries, The Offer.
Yeah.
Last year about the making of The Godfather. They shot all over the Paramount lot, including the Tank.
Yeah. Well, I think the Truman Show used it. There's a bunch of different things. So the back, there's a wall that's building and they would paint it blue like the sky.
No, that's a backdrop. That's an actual, diorama. Not diorama.
No.
But it's an actual working backdrop so that you could shoot like an ocean scene
and it would
have the appropriate sky behind you.
But it was just funny because they say some days you park in the Tank. Usually we park in the Tank. And other times it is full of water because they're going to make a boat explode. But yes, we get there and we walk to your office and there was an elevator, like a freight elevator type of thing.
Old fashioned
freight elevator. That was really fun as a kid because my dad, you pull up the wooden pieces. And then when I got old enough, I could push the button, hold the button as we went up the one floor. We go in, you do your voiceovers. We'd go into either the talent oasis or when things moved, your other office. There was just such a neat sort of cadence. And then walking onto the actual set, walking onto the soundstage, there's always really nice security outside. And we'd always say hi to them. And if the light was flashing, it meant we had to wait. And then they would tell us and we could come in, and we would. And usually when you would show up, Mary was there, somebody was there filming. And so we'd say hi to all of them. And it was just it was a huge part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And
mine
and yours.
And I never once drove or walked onto that lot and took it for granted. It was always exciting to be on that studio lot.
Trevor, to go back to Hot Ticket for a second, when Hot Ticket was filming, because it would film much later in the day, ET had to happen early in the day because they would send it out
for that night.
Satellites everywhere. And
our satellite, we had daily booking from 12:30 to 1 p.m. Pacific time on a transponder, as they called it.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to make that deadline. We had to at least start feeding the 24-minute show by 12:30 or 12:34, 12:35. We're really pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, wasn't like live TV, but it was closest thing.
It's pretty close to live TV.
Yeah.
But so when we did, when Hot Ticket happened, it was much later in the day. And Soul Train was filmed in the
across the way,
on the stage right across from us. And that's where we'd have dinner. That's where they had catering set up dinner. So whenever we were filming Hot Ticket, it meant we got to have dinner on the Soul Train stage. And that to me was just the most ridiculous, wonderful thing to get to do. Because I just thought, like, we're sitting on the Soul Train stage. How is that possible? Jessie mentions her husband works in Hollywood. What does he do? My husband does lighting. My husband does light bulbs for a living. He works for a company, but he also tours, and he's toured with bands. He's toured with ice skating shows, kids shows, pardon me, you name it. If you need light bulbs, he's your guy.
And he's obviously good at what he does because he works all the time.
He works a lot.
Except, of course, during pandemic when there were no shows, no trade shows,
no live events.
Yeah.
But other than that, so
he's
he
very
gets
happy to be fully
employed.
Occupied. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, so his company was hired to do the premiere for Air that just happened.
Mm-hmm. In Westwood.
They got to set up all the lighting for the premiere.
And Jason Berman,
and the party.
The producer, Jason Berman, met Scott the other night at the end of our session and said, that was the best lit tent I've seen in 20 years.
That party looked so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what my husband does. 1 second. Oh, did you get to meet Don Cornelius? RIP?
No, unfortunately.
No, because it was much later. But man, that would have. Can you imagine? Hi, we're just sitting on your stage to have some dinner. Thanks so much. 1 sec. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to make sure. Matt is asking if we've seen In and of Itself, Frank Oz's movie. Did you ever actually get to see it?
No,
so
I did not.
When it was supposed to come out was pandemic time, and we were supposed to interview Frank at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do a live show with him, and that would have been really, really neat. And then everything happened, so it didn't. So no, I still haven't been able to see it. And I guess you haven't either. Did you see it, and did you like it? It says it'll receive its first major screening at Ebert Fest this year. That's a great spot for it.
Good.
How old were you, Jessie, that you can remember Soul Train? This was when they brought it back, because I was 15, 16 at the time of that. And I only know because I started being able to drive myself to the lot, and that was a big deal. Again, there's so many milestones at the lot. My dad was at Entertainment Tonight when my mom's friend called from Cedars-Sinai to say that I was going to be born. And if he wanted to be there, he was going to have to get over to Cedars-Sinai. And everybody lined up to shake your hand. And then, I started going when I was very little, and they always treated me so well. In part, I think because I was one of the very first kids, so nobody had ruined it for them yet. So they thought it was fun that I would come, and everybody played with me and messed around with me. And there's a guy named Andy who liked to turn me upside down and walk in the halls. All kinds of
good group of people.
Yeah,
a good group of people.
Yeah,
we worked well together, and we enjoyed each other's company.
Yeah, and I think everybody had a similar sense of humor, which was very helpful.
Yeah.
The directors and it was a really lovely group. And that's why I always say I feel very fortunate, because they treated me better than anyone had to, they let me go with you to damn near anything.
Yeah.
I could go when my dad was doing interviews. I was almost always allowed to go. The only time I wasn't is when it was a red carpet thing, because there's no space. If they have a platform, there's really no space for an extra person when they've got the camera and the producer and everything else. But, other than that, they let me go to everything. And I just got to be a part of it, which was very
You were
kind.
with me. You were with me one particular December on a junket, a movie press junket at the Four Seasons Hotel, where many of those were and still are held, where I was interviewing Matt Damon and Morgan Freeman.
Invictus.
Together for the film Invictus.
Well, no, you were interviewing Clint Eastwood first. And then and after them... After Clint was finished, you were supposed to do Matt and Morgan Freeman.
And I had just asked Matt, knowing the answer, does Clint ever say cut or action or cut?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't.
Because he's notorious for sort of just film. He'll film a rehearsal and say, yeah, we're just going to use that. And there have been times, I forget who told us, someone was still holding their script in the scene. And they, we'll just use it. It's fine. Proceed. Because I'll get to the part that's insane.
Continue.
No. Did Clint ever say?
Oh, well, no. But then behind us, we hear some.
No. You're doing it the wrong way.
That's why I want you to tell it.
Okay. So we're in this room. It's very busy because there's a whole heap of people around. I'm in the corner. As I say, this was for the film Invictus. Now, Clint loves my dad. You are one of the few people he will speak to. He enjoys your company. I also, that day, he was in gray sweatpants and a sort of a collared polo shirt that was really messy. And so I went over to him and I fixed his collar. I said, I gotta at least try. So I fixed his collar for him to try and make it look less like that. Also knowing that Clint does not give a shit. Clint does not care. He is Clint Eastwood. He is happy in his life. But I had to try. So we did that. I asked if he wanted any powder on his face. He, of course, did not, but I had to ask. And then you guys start your interview. Clint does not answer in short sentences, with you at least. And he was telling stories. Well, now Matt and Morgan Freeman are standing in the hall outside of the room because it's their turn to come in. And so you've got our director going like this, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up. And Clint is not stopping. And are you going to be the person that stops Clint? I'm not. He sure as hell not.
I'm not going to interrupt him in the middle of a thought or in the middle of a sentence.
No. At all.
If he finished the thought, I would have taken that moment, that little breath, that little space to say, actually, Clint, we have to move on. And, but he didn't give me that opening.
He did not. And so he just kept going as there starts to be a bit of a commotion because they're waiting and they have to get in there and all this. And so Clint is still talking. And finally we hear, oh, shut up. It was Morgan Freeman and Matt Damon. They came into the room while Clint was talking and they just started teasing the hell out of him. And our camera guys
caught it.
Are like, ha! And filming as fast, turning the camera because they want to catch this because it's just ridiculous. And they start teasing him. I took some pictures at the time. God knows where they are. I took pictures because it was just surreal.
One of the great days.
Absolutely surreal. And they came in and Clint left. And then the two of them sat down with you and you had like this lively, wonderful conversation. But that was one of those things where honestly, I wouldn't have believed it if I wasn't sitting there. But if you could have seen the look on the faces of absolutely everyone in that room when you hear, "Oh, shut up." Did someone just tell Clint Eastwood to shut up? Are you kidding me? It was wild, let's say. I'm going to pull up some Q&A stuff. You show these.
Okay. 2 recent releases from Kino Lorber. They're diving deep into the Universal Studios archives, which include Paramount pictures made from 1929 to 49, like If I Had a Million, the multi-episode film, which I haven't seen in ages, so I'm looking forward to watching it again. This is the one where W.C. Fields has a roadhog sequence, and where Charles Laughton stars in a vignette directed by Ernst Lubitsch that's kind of like a skit, like a Shaggy Dog joke with a punchline. Enjoyable film. And this is Counselor at Law, which I showed at last year's Turner Classic Movies Festival when they honored me with the Robert Osborne Award. And it's a film I love, not only for Barrymore, but for William Wyler, the great, great director. This was a turning point in his career when he made a big leap forward. So it's worth seeing on several counts. So I'm happy both of those are available now. And no, I'm going to do this first. I realize that snail mail is snail mail is starting to go away. You know, direct deposits, instead of checks.
Yeah.
All sorts of things being done, you know, to weaken that strain of communication.
Yeah.
But I take pride in the fact that I still receive publications like this in the mail, not online. And this is the newsletter of the International Jack Benny Fan Club called the Jack Benny Times. And always fun. This one has pictures of all the publicity releases for the 1946 radio season of the Jack Benny Show.
Was The Unknown Chaplain ever released on DVD or Blu-ray?
Yes, it was. I don't remember who released it, but I have it. So
someone did.
And you can look up the International Jack Benny Fan Club online, and you can join, and you too can receive that.
You too can get these things.
They just had they're not Luddites. We just had an online convention.
Yeah.
In which I participated very happily. And then this is Boyd Major's publication, Western Clippings, for people who love old Westerns, by which I mean movie and television Westerns both. And this is issue number 168. I've been subscribing a long time.
Nell Minnow is saying, I'm really enjoying the TCM's month-long Warner Brothers Festival. Are there any neglected gems on the schedule we should make sure to see? Anything you know of offhand?
I don't know. I haven't really examined the schedule now closely enough. The other night I watched. I couldn't not watch the end of 3 on a Match.
You love that film.
Film I really, really like a lot. Sort of a quintessential pre-code film. It's got everything in it. It's got drugs, prostitution, sex.
All of our favorite things.
It's quite amazing.
All of our favorite things.
When Bogey, and Bogart and Betty Davis made that film, they were unknowns. And it's so interesting. Bogart crashes in on Anne Dvorak's apartment, and she's going like that. And so he says to his cronies, "Get her," you know. Well, you know.
Whatever were they talking about? Chris, is that so the question we asked you guys today is, what movies have you enjoyed watching recently? What have you seen lately that you liked? And so we have a few things. Yesterday I saw Only in Theaters, a documentary about the Laemmle Theaters, and you were in it.
Yep.
Yes, he was, Philip. Yes, he was. it's so interesting because there's a lot of great documentaries out there, and it can be hard to keep up. But it's always something.
It's a really interesting one.
Always something out there.
Especially if you live in Los Angeles, it'll have meaning to you.
Several people have seen Air, and everybody seems to have liked it, which is great. It's always nice when people are sort of all on board for something. That's pretty popular. Question for you. Which films about Jewish life / families would you recommend? And do you have any favorites? The first one actually that comes to mind is was it Menemsha Films? The Spanish, that one was incredibly upsetting. But Nora's Will.
There's a sleeper now. There's a real sleeper.
Yeah.
That is about a Jewish family at Passover time, and can't say enough good things about it.
It's I didn't know that that Mexico had a large Orthodox and Hasidic Jewish population. I had no idea. And that's part of what this is about. It's a really good film.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what
Somebody
else.
said Radio Days, which is Woody Allen's memoir film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good too.
What else?
Well, Mr. Cohen Takes a Walk, which we just watched yesterday, under the reissue title, Father Takes a Walk. A Serious Man. Well, yes, A Serious Man by the Coen brothers is a very good, quixotic, but good example.
Yeah. Annie is saying hello from Ireland. Love tuning in each week.
Well,
thanks,
hello
Annie.
to you,
Where in
Annie.
Ireland are you? We love Ireland. I love Ireland. Oh, Chris here saying Nora's Will is so good. It's such a good film. I saw it in your class. Saw it at my dad's class at USC, and by the end of it, I was sobbing. And the director came in. And I just thought that was really beautiful. Like I was a mess. It's such a good movie, though. Such a good movie.
If you want to find only in the theaters, look it up online. If you can't find it easily, go to lemley.com. That's spelled Laemmle, like Uncle Carl Laemmle, who founded Universal Pictures.
And on Tuesday, we are interviewing a Laemmle.
That's right. The current head of the Laemmle Theater chain here in Los Angeles.
And that will be on our show. That will be probably in 2 weeks or something. You're in Dublin viewing with your 10-year-old. Hello. Well, first of all, your 10-year-old obviously has great taste if he's a movie buff. I get that. But yeah, oh my God, Dublin, one of the most magical places in the entire world. Thank you guys so much for watching. How did you like The Book Thief?
Oh, I wish I liked it better.
Yeah.
I wish I liked it better. I thought it let down. Good ingredients, but it didn't go all the way for me.
Jonathan's asking, what is your favorite Merry Melody cartoon?
I'm wearing it on my T-shirt today. I love to sing it.
I love to sing about the moon and the June and the spring. I love to sing. Yeah, our favorite, our absolute favorite.
One scene, never forgotten.
That's right.
But hard to describe the appeal of it.
Yep. Instead of Wabbit Twubble by Bob Clampett, what is your favorite Bugs Bunny cartoon by Chuck Jones?
Probably Long-Haired Hare.
Yeah.
Or Rabbit of Seville, one of those two. But there's so many great ones.
So many good ones. There's so damn many good ones. Annie was just asking if we've seen Banshees of Inisherin. I finally got to. Daisy napped long enough and I got to see the movie. I liked but didn't love. But man, I just loved being there. I loved just being in Ireland, happily in Ireland. That was wonderful. Yeah, you liked also but didn't love.
It didn't work for me. It didn't work for me, and I run hot and cold with Martin McDonagh's work, and this one left me cold. And my wife and I both, and we find ourselves, of course, in a tiny sliver of a minority.
Yeah,
because it's been so well received and so warmly received.
Owl Jolson, exactly.
Yes, right.
Never a bad time for Owl Jolson.
Quick show and tell now.
Yes.
This is, we had a friend over yesterday who asked me what this was. He'd never seen one before. Well, this is what was called a Big Little Book. was a product of the Depression years, the 1930s, and cheaply made, cheap paper, cheap binding. And I don't know what it sold for, but it had to be very, very little money. And most of them were developed from popular comic strips of the time.
Hello. Oh, trouble's on the way, guys. Trouble's on the way. Hi, Days.
But when they were successful, that was Whitman Publishing in Racine, Wisconsin.
Hi. Hi, Bubba. Who is not asleep? This guy. Okay. So let's show him the rest.
So a rival company, several rival companies started making similar books, but they all did movie tie-in books.
Yeah.
And that's what I collect. There's Jackie Cooper and Peck's Bad Boy.
Yeah.
The 1934 version of Great Expectations. A really nice Laurel and Hardy collection. And inside, profusely illustrated with photos from the film or films.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is they're so fragile. The condition is everything. I didn't do this.
Careful. I know she's getting so big. Where the hell does the time go?
I didn't do this, but somebody used electrical tape to bind this book back together. Frank Capra's Broadway Bill. But I don't blame them. You have to keep the book.
You got to keep it together somehow.
Somehow.
Yeah.
That's why I've kept this.
Yeah.
I have 2 copies of this book called We Barrymores.
Yeah.
Ostensibly written by John Lionel Ethel Barrymore. Almost certainly not. But it's a great cover of the 3 of them.
What's that?
I'll show a little closer.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Sorry. Oh, what are you flinging your head back, you silly thing?
The copy that we keep out or kept out on our coffee table
Hi.
has had its its fragile binding destroyed, but that was bound to happen. That's why I'm keeping this one in a kind of a shrink wrap.
Yeah, got to keep
it together.
Keep them as best as possible.
What I like to show people is that, and they were very popular. They were inexpensive during the Depression, very, very popular. So somebody at Lucasfilm, I don't know who, but somebody decided that the first Star Wars trilogy
should have its
own.
Look at that.
Modern day Big Little Books.
Man, oh man. Has Daisy seen a Disney movie yet? Well, technically she doesn't properly watch anything, but we do put things on. So she really likes Moana because it's beautiful colors and she likes that. We've been watching the Sing movies, Sing 1 and Sing 2. She likes that a lot because she loves music and she loves singing. So that always goes well. Has she been to Disneyland yet? No, she has not been to Disneyland yet, but probably in the not too distant future, we'll take her.
This was done as a promotional piece by Chronicle Books for the not very good film, The Mask of Zorro.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that they did another Big Little Book. And finally, most appropriately,
such a good one.
This is strictly for promotional use. They released the novel. I guess it's a novelization. I have to ask Al.
Yeah.
This is Road to Perdition, based on the novel written by my good friend Max Allan Collins, and the plot involves a Big Little Book at one point, where the young hero is reading a Big Little Book.
Oh, Chris is saying that Nora's Will is on Netflix.
Oh, good.
That's great to know. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to know that.
Anyway, so this is a rare bird.
Yeah.
It's not available.
Yeah.
Not available in any stores.
Yeah. Happy Passover. Thank you so much. And as a fellow Jack Benny fan, I was wondering if you ever met any of the cast of the Jack Benny radio or TV program.
Very lucky. Got to meet Dennis Day one day when he came to ET for an interview. Had a nice chat with him. He's a lovely man. I got to meet Frank Nelson. Not only did I get to meet Frank Nelson, but I got to tap him on the shoulder with a camera running from ET and say, "Mister, oh, Mister." And he turned around and said, "Yes."
Oh, I love that.
I met Phil Harris and had a wonderful interview with Phil Harris at Disneyland.
Legend. Truly a legend.
And he was a wonderful interview. And
what about Mel Blanc?
And Mel Blanc. Yes. Yeah. And Mel Blanc.
Yeah.
Who was Mel Blanc. Can't do better than that.
No, that's wild. It's really wild. I still can't get over the fact that so many voice actors smoked as much as they did. That still blows my mind to think about these people. I mean, it's like, to me, it's like when I see a singer smokes and I think, don't do it. You need to take care of that. But the idea that someone like Mel Blanc, any of those.
He smoked since he was a teenager.
Yeah. It was just a way, wasn't it? It was a way
apparently,
of life.
I forget who told me this, but they did a recording session with him toward the end of his life. He quit smoking like the last year and a half of his life, and his voice improved.
Oh, Jesus.
He could still do all the characters.
Yeah.
But he did a recording session for, I think, Greg Ford, one of those latter-day Looney Tunes reboots, and they said they could hear that it was a fuller, richer.
Oh, what a shame! What a shame! Truly, yeah. No, there's a number of Disney and Pixar films that have lots of bright colors for Daisy. Definitely, as they say, she loves music, so we've played a lot of snippets of stuff. She's seen a bunch of the music numbers from Mary Poppins, stuff like that. She does enjoy it. But I love picking stuff to share and then hoping that she likes it. And again, she's so little now, she doesn't really get it yet, but she will.
Jimmy's saying you just saw The Adventures of Robin Hood for the first time. Congratulations. If you loved it, it shows you have good taste. And there's very few that equal that film.
Yeah.
But you'll see many other things that will remind you how much you like that one.
Did you see it at home or did you get to go to a theater? How did you watch it?
Most likely
Bluey, TCM. So Rose, we talked about Bluey at the very beginning. Daisy loves Bluey and we love Bluey. And I've seen every episode about 4,000 times. I love Bluey. I think it is brilliant and it's so well done and it's so clever. And my husband and I quote bits of it all the time because it makes us laugh. And yeah, it's a good one for Daisy. As soon as it comes on, she gets really excited. So that's nice. I think I've mentioned before, but I don't think that growing up in this house, screen time was ever a conversation. I can't imagine you when I was little saying, we got to limit Jessie's screen time because that's just how we live. We live with a screen. So Daisy has screens around her all the time. And you know what? She's all right. She's okay. Aren't you okay? She's like, yeah, what? Screens. It's true. Hi.
I agree. I agree.
Your mouth.
I fully agree about Man's Castle. Frank Borzegi's wonderful film starring Spencer Tracy and Loretta Young. We, in fact, have an insert card poster for it right outside our bedroom.
Love to hear Leonard's view on the Blues Brothers movie.
Well, I remember liking it, but it's been so many years since I've seen it.
I also really like the sequel because I love the music.
People put down the long delayed follow-up movie, which was intended to be family friendly.
Yeah,
and that's why a lot of people don't like it. It doesn't have the rough edges of the first one.
Yeah,
but the music in it is sensational.
It's really good, and they got so many good people in it. Hey, Daisy, will you do? Where's Daisy? Where's Daisy? Where is she?
Well, she's hiding.
Where is she?
There's Daisy.
Where's Daisy? Where is she? Where's Daisy? Where's Daisy? There we go. Where's Daisy? There she is.
That's Daisy.
This is how we spend our time. They're asking just if you enjoyed the first one. Yeah. Okay, so guys, we will be at the TCM Film Fest next week, which means we will not be able to join you on Sunday. If you are coming to TCM, let us know, and please come say hi. People sometimes get nervous. Yeah, like that. You come say hi. People sometimes get nervous coming over to my dad. They say they don't want to bother him, but that's the thing is, that's why we're there. We're there for saying hello, and I'm always happy to take pictures for you guys of him. And if you want a picture with him, just ask. I'll do it for you. It's no problem. But yeah, we're very excited. And
thank you from Ireland. Love these chats. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's so nice to have you. Daisy is cute. I will agree. I do think Daisy is also very cute. I may be biased, but I think she's pretty adorable. Everyone have a good week. Again, we'll see you, for those of you who we will see at TCM, looking forward to that. We'll all be there, me, my mom, my dad, and Daisy. So come on by. Take care and
be kind.
Be kind. Bye, guys.